Hey guys, it's Sara Oehler here from www.softflexcompany.com. I'm going to be doing a demonstration today using the 2019 Fall-Winter Pantone colors. We have a really beautiful bead mix that we created with Jesse James beads. It's a custom bead mix that matches our brand new and very first Softflex Quad. So it has 4 colors. There are 10 feet on each of the spools, and it's a really nice little sampling if you're trying to stay on trend with what's going on in the fashion world for fall, winter 2019. These are the colors that you definitely need to have in your bead box. So I'm going to open these up. We're going to make 4 different earrings. I'm going to use a different color on each pair of earrings. And we will use some beads from the bead mix and check it out. So I'm going to flip down so we can get started. Okay, here we go. There's my beautiful Northern California sky. I'm just going to move you over ever so slightly here. And just up a little bit too. There we go. Okay, so we've got our Softflex Quad here. Get my bead stoppers out of the way. Here is our deal this week. This is good through next Tuesday. And this is unusual. We don't normally give away a bead mix with such a low purchase amount. Usually you have to spend like $50 to get a free bead mix. So this is a special time where all you have to do is buy this one quad and you're going to get a free bead mix custom designed for us by Jesse James Beads using these same colors. And here are all the beads in the mix. I started sort of pulling it apart to kind of see what I might make today. But I do want to make a pair of earrings with each color so we can kind of play around with how we mix and match them. Hi Karen from British Columbia. Hi Emily. Hi Pimage. Hi Kristen. Nice to see all of you guys. Okay, so I have no plans in my head. I'm just going to sort of go with it. So we picked 4. There's actually more than 4 colors for 2019. These were the 4 that we picked that we felt matched some of our Softflex beading wire colors the best. And this particular one is garnet, and we picked it to match something called biking red and sugar almond. We picked citrine in our wire to match, and then bluestone, we picked our dark blue lapis color, and then last of all we picked bone color to match the Creme de Peche. And it just makes such a beautiful fall palette. I'm really excited to break it open and kind of start digging in here. Okay, so I'm going to start with blue. I'm wearing blue today. I love blue. I think that'll be a really good spot to start. And I don't know if I want to do blue on blue or if I think I might mix some of the sugar, what is it, sugar almond and Creme de Peche are kind of mixed together. I think I might take some of those. Although this blue and red could be really quite striking too. Really pretty combination. Hi everybody, so nice to see you. Yeah, it's a really pretty color, isn't it? This really deep dark red. I think so too. Okay, so I'm just gonna fidget around and we'll do 4 different styles of earrings. I haven't planned anything out. We're just gonna go for it. I'm sure I can figure something out, right? I'm the queen of ad lib. Okay, so I have a nice sized piece of Softflex beading wire. This is the dark blue lapis that comes in the quad. I am going to go ahead and take, I think I might do my leaves right away because I love these gold leaves that come in the bead mix. They're so pretty. And I think I'm going to take my wire. I'm trying to decide which. I'm thinking this really sweet little bead might look really pretty with it. and then I can go ahead and just crimp at the top. These bead mixes come with so many different beads, and they're almost all in pairs or quads. Sometimes you'll get 4, sometimes you'll get 2, so they're great for making earrings. I love them. Okay, I'm going to grab out my crimps. It looks like I'm using gold, so I'm going to grab some of my 2x2 gold crimp tubes. And I'm just getting those out. And we'll do the magical crimper on this one, but I am going to do some different styles of crimping as well. So to do a very quick and easy earring, perfect for a present. If you wake up in the morning, you're going to wear something and you realize you don't have something to match, this is like the best and easiest earring to do. So all I did was double up the wire, go back through the bead into the crimp, and then I'm going to feed back into that crimp one time with one of the strands. And I'm just going to fidget with it till I can get it how I want it. So we're looking at something like this. I love how this cream color and gold go with the dark blue. It's really striking. The magical crimpers have a little divot on each side that is identical, and the crimp tube fits in it just perfectly. And I'm going to be using a Softflex crimp tube today, which you can also find on our website. This is a 2x2mm crimp tube. It's the only size that works with these crimping pliers. And we make them with thick walls. They're double the wall thickness of many on the market. They're also seamless, so they're quite strong. And I'm going to center my crimp tube to the best of my ability in the center of that magical crimping plier. Let me see if I can get in close where you can kind of see the magic happening. When I pull it out the first time, I should have what looks like a little 4-corner ravioli. That lets me know that I have definitely centered it properly. Sometimes it'll come out, if you didn't get it centered properly, you'll see one side is pinched and one side isn't. You can kind of go back and pinch the other side, but it's not going to round out just quite as nicely as if you had centered it from the beginning. But that's a nice tip for anybody that's kind of learning how to use these guys. I'm going to center again, but this time I'm centering on those 4 corners so that I can compress those in. I'm just going to gently compress and then just go around and around, forming that tube into a little round bead. You want to take your time with these crimping pliers, and you do want to practice. Like with most things, you're going to get better and better the more you do it. But you do want to use good quality crimps. You want to use a good quality wire. These crimping pliers were made by the inventor for Soft Flex Beading Wire. That's the wire that she tends to use in her own designs. And so our nylon coating works really well with it. But if you're using another brand of beading wire, that can also cause some issues sometimes with it slipping, because the different nylons that you can find on the different types of beading wire out in the world. But they make such a beautiful little finish and a really strong finish too. So there is my first earring, really simple. You could crimp down here at the bottom too if you don't want this bead to kind of slide up and down. I don't really mind in this case because it's pretty much going to stay where it is, because the wire just generally wants to sort of pull out. So it should hold in place pretty well. I'm going to just add my ear wire now. Let me grab some of those out of my case. We sell all of this stuff on the website, www.softflexcompany.com. Up here, the crimping pliers, the crimps, the ear wires. You can find it all. You find it all there. And this week only, we're giving away a free bead mix, this exact bead mix, when you buy one of our new quads. we do have limited supplies. So once they're gone, they're gone. And this is a pretty good deal because we normally make people spend $50 to get a free bead mix. So it's a big giveaway this week. Okay, so I've got my ear wire. I'm going to use these same magical crimpers. See how they have kind of a flat edge on the end, almost like a little mini chain nose plier? I'm just going to move it to the side to open it up, and then I can slide my ear wire in and I can close it back down. And I'll go ahead and make the second one off air, and then I'll take a picture and post it in our Softflex BIB group. I'm going to make 3 more pairs of earrings in this video, so let me start thinking about what to do with the next color. So we did the blue here. We're going to move on, I think, to the red. I was thinking that the red would also be really nice with this color, and maybe I'll save this beautiful blue to work with the citrine because I could see those colors working really well together. So I'm just going to pull out some of my red wire here. I also have these really cool caged beads in the mix, which are always really fun to add to an earring. They're super sparkly, and I could see that being really fun, a fun item to work with. So let's think about that too. Maybe I'll do a round design this time. So if I were to do a round design with this particular color, I'm trying to think what I might want to do if I string this in the center. So basically you can crimp Softflex into lots of different shapes. One of my favorite is like a big hoop, and you can hang things from it. If you do too much weight, it is going to become more of an oval. So you always want to kind of be thoughtful about what you're putting on it. In this case I can definitely see that this is like such a nice lightweight piece. It's going to be really great. I don't want to add anything that has too much weight to it. So I'm thinking possibly these, which are also very light, would be really pretty. And no, that might be a little much. I'm not feeling it. Let me try just adding a little silver bead at the top just to see if it makes it feel a little bit different for me. Sometimes adding is good, sometimes it becomes too much. It's kind of fun. I like that the beads are all fairly light, so it's not going to weigh it down too much. I feel like there's big enough holes here. I could even maybe do another color, and maybe that would bring it together just a little better. So I'm going to grab another color of Softflex. And in this case, I'm thinking either the citrine, which could be really pretty, or the bone would be fun. So let me snip off a couple pieces here. And I think it'll go through all of these beads twice pretty easily. And if you're worried about losing your beads ever, always feel free to use a bead stopper. You can find those on our website too. It'll hold the beads on the wire so you can kind of play around with it and not worry about losing everything. Yeah. So I feel like that adds just like a little bit more contrast, which is fun. I'm wondering if I could even get another color like bone to go through there. Let's see. And then we can use the mighty crimpers to crimp it off. So I've got my bone from the quad. This is the fun of having multiple colors. You can kind of mix them together almost like paint and create all sorts of fun designs. Let's see if it'll go through these little metal guys. Oh, good, it will. There you go. You can, of course, hear lots of fun backyard. Oh. Let's see if I push it through this way, it'll be easier. Yeah, you can definitely braid the colors if you want to. I've done lots of projects with braiding. It's really fun. In this particular one, I think I'm just going to keep them loose and let them just sort of overlap. I think it'll look really cool. All right, so I'm just kind of pushing that back down. You could go this direction if you wanted to. You could do more of like a teardrop, which actually looks really good. I'm really liking that better than this circle, I think, because of the way that it comes together here on the ends. Huh, I think we'll do that. Okay, so let me grab a big crimp. I'm going to use a big, what we call mighty crimps. It's a 3 by 3 millimeter crimp tube, so you can see it's quite big and it'll handle multiple strands of wire. So I'm going to take all 6 strands of beading wire and I'm going to string them into my big crimp. Yeah, I like the teardrop. You know, you never know where you're going. Maybe I'll make the hoop design next. I'm letting the beads do the leading here. Okay, so we've got all of our wires kind of overlapping each other. You'll be able to see them really nicely. I really like the garnet. I'm trying to make sure it's a good size too, that it all kind of looks good, makes sense together. If you wanted, you could crimp the beads in place so that they don't move up and down in this teardrop, but gravity will mostly take care of that. I'm going to take my 1 garnet wire here and I'm going to string it back in where I can find just kind of a natural space for it to go. And that's what I'll hook my earring finding onto. You could do all 3 wires and keep it layered at the top if you wanted to. You don't have to cut the others off. I've got my mighty crimping pliers, and you can see that there's a hole with the tooth and then a hole with a rounder. I'm going to use that hole with the tooth first, and I'm just going to gently compress into this crimp, big crimp, to create what looks like sort of a little divot in it. And so I was here. Now I'm just going to move it over to the side into the rounder, and I'm going to take those 2 ends and round it in. And I'll just go around it a few times, kind of tightening it down. You can totally leave it like this if you want, or you can also use a crimp cover with a 3 by 3 millimeter crimp tube. You want a 4 millimeter crimp cover, and I can show you that too. So I'm going to trim off my wires right at the crimp tube. There we go. And I like to string my wire through the side of the loop that I can get the closest cut. So I just strung it through so I can get in as close as possible to where those wires are coming out. This is my second of 4 earrings. I'm still going to show at least 2 more earrings, although you could probably make many, many more with this bead mix. And there we go. We've got our layered look. So we've got multiple colors running through it, which is super fun. We've got this really fun bead down here that is in the bead mix. And then of course we've got the sparkle-tastic beads here that are also in the bead mix. So let me grab a crimp cover. We'll put that on there. Pretty sure I have some here. So this is a crimp cover. Get my wire to stay still so I can keep track of it. This is a crimp cover on camera. It's like a little open-faced metal bead that can slip over a crimp if you want to make it bigger and more substantial, if you want to hide your crimp and you want it to look more like a bead. And a really nice way to do this is to take your rounder in your crimping plier and slide it over the top. And sometimes it'll go really easily, sometimes it's harder. So what I'm going to do is just make sure I take my rounder and just tighten this so it's just a little skinnier. It has a lot of wires running in there. And that way this can slide over the top just a little bit more easily. These don't fit these crimps just perfectly. There's always just like a little bit of an overlap. So you do want to get it on there as best you can, meaning centered on top of it, so that it doesn't slip too much one way or the other. Sometimes I'll take my chain nose pliers when there's a lot of wire and I will push it inside of that crimp cover just a little bit, and then I can start to kind of close it down over the top. And you don't want to use too much force on a crimp cover because it will start to kind of eat it up, dent it, and you don't want that. You can always kind of push it up to get it in the right spot too. So that's how you add a 4mm crimp cover onto a 3x3mm crimp tube. And you can do the same with a 2x2 crimp and a 4 or 3mm crimp cover. So I'm going to add my ear wire from over here. The same way I did on the last one, I'm just going to open it up. This one looks like it's actually already open. Open it to the side, slide my earring on, and then close it back up. You can use chain nose for that, or you can use the end of the crimping plier too, which I often do. So that was earring number 2. I will take pictures of all the earrings that I make today and I'll post them in our Softflex VIB group. If you want to see the finished product, that's a good place to go. I have 2 more designs promised, so I'm going to work on that next. The Mighty Crimper looks like a regular. What's the difference? The Mighty Crimper is bigger, so it works with a 3x3mm crimp tube, whereas the regular crimping pliers, side by side, the regular crimping pliers work with a 2x2 crimp tube, and the Mighty Crimpers work with a 3x3 crimp tube. So it's just much larger, and you would use that in the case of having multiple strands of beading wire running through the same crimp. You need a bigger crimp to hold it all together. And then there's actually also, I need a third hand. There's also up here at the top is the micro, which is for a 1x1 crimp tube, which is super tiny and fun to work with. If you're trying to like hold something in place on the wire and you need just a really tiny little metal piece, then these are really fantastic. Okay, so next let's pull out some citrine. We're going to work with these beautiful blues. And maybe we'll go back to my hoop idea. I heard somebody talking about braiding. You can definitely braid with this wire. You can braid with just one color or multiple colors. Maybe we'll do that with this design. I wish I had my macrame board out here because that makes braiding a lot easier, but I did not think to grab it. Sure, we can get it figured out though. So if you want to braid wire, you would do it just like you would human hair. You're going to get your 3 wires kind of lined up. Normally I would use my bead stopper and then maybe even pin it onto my macrame board so it's easy just to kind of hold on to it. And when you braid, you're going to go, most of us know how to braid, we're going to take the left over the middle, the right over the middle, the left over the middle, the right over the middle, and you just kind of keep going to create a really pretty braid. That's the fun of doing these live videos, is you guys can kind of shout out ideas and I can immediately respond. I love that. It's like a group think. Okay, so we've got a little bit braided here. I'm thinking that could be good. I'm going to string on, if I want to do, I think I might just do one big blue bead in the center here, if I can get this to cooperate. And then I'm just going to keep braiding. So it'll basically just kind of sit in the bottom there. And I just want to braid up same side. I want to do about the same distance, so I think I need to go just a tad bit further. So the wire I'm using is our Soft Flex Beading Wire. It's a marine quality stainless steel micro spun beading wire. So inside this wire that you're looking at is actually 49 strands of stainless steel braided together in a proprietary braid, and then it has a nylon coating over it, and that's where the color comes in, is in the nylon coating. And this is where a bead stopper really comes in handy because I need to get my crimps out. So I can put that down and have my hands be free. So I'm going to use those big crimps again. I'm going to do 2 of them this time since it's an earring and I'm doing a hoop. I want to make sure my earring finding will kind of sit in the middle of the 2. So I will just take my 3 wires and go ahead and string my 2 crimps on this side. And I can let go. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, just being real careful that I don't let my braid go, which is easier said than done when you're fumbling. Okay, there we go. So we want to make sure, since I have never done this design before, we want to make sure that our crystal is going to hang really nicely. You could add in some fun seed beads or some other little drops in a graduated size if you wanted to. These are kind of Broncos colors. I grew up in Montana. There's a lot of Broncos fans there, but also orange and blue just are contrasting colors, right? Aren't they across from each other on the color wheel? So they can be really fun together, especially in the fall. This deep dark kind of steel blue with the sort of pumpkin color, just really calling my name. Anyway, so I've got my shape together. Now I'm going to take my mighty crimpers. I say Montana because Montana doesn't have a football team, and so most Montanans have co-opted either the Minnesota Vikings or the Denver Broncos. And I grew up in a Broncos house for sure. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on the underside so that my seam is on the inside of my ring, just in case I don't want to use one of those bead crimp covers. I can make sure I'm kind of hiding that seam on the inside. And I'm trying to see, I want to make sure I'm kind of doing it in the right spot here. Usually when I'm doing a double crimp like this, I will just move down and do the second crimp right away. I want to leave just enough space that I can wrap my ear wire between those two guys. And then I can move to my rounder and round it in. And I'll go around that a couple times. And if you wanted, you could even do a little more blue in here. I did 3 strands of citrine, but if you're doing the quad, you could throw in some of this really pretty dark blue lapis as like 1 or 2 of the strands and play down that citrine color. That would probably be really pretty too. Lots of options. I think it'd be super cool to have it be graduated, you know, like start with your biggest crystal in the center and then do some smaller ones. That could be really pretty as a necklace too. All right, so I'm just going to slide in next to my crimps and trim off. Softflex earrings are so quick and easy, and they're light, usually because you don't have a lot of heavy beads, mostly light wire. So you can make a fairly decent size feeling super heavy. And there we go. We've got a little hoop, and we can just add our earring finding to the center. So I'm going to take the tip of my crimping plier, open it up. Oh, thank you for all the likes, guys. That's so nice. And I'm going to turn it around because I want that seam to be facing just a little more in the back. And then I can close that back up. I really appreciate it anytime you like or share any of my videos. It lets me know that you are enjoying yourself, and it helps other people find us too. All right, so that's earring number 3. I've got 1 more earring to go, and these all turned out to be such unique earrings. Not knowing what we were going to do from the start is always kind of funny because you never know what you're going to end up with, but we've got 3 totally different earrings from the same bead mix, and look at how many beads are still left in this bead mix. It's amazing how much is still here. So, and granted, we have to save that and that. Oh, I would need to do these completely. I would need, I'm just realizing if I use 2 of the beads from the bead mix, I need 2 bead mixes to complete the earring. Good to know. If anybody's wanting to complete that exact earring, you need 2 bead mixes because of the pair being in the earring itself. Okay, and last but not least, what color have we not really used? Let's go for some of the bone Softflex. I'm thinking these are so pretty. These right here. You could do a really cute earring just like this one with this really fun tassel and this beautiful crystal, and it would be gorgeous. I'm not going to do that one because we did that one already, but I'm just saying if you have this, I could see this being really, really pretty. I would wear those a million times over. So let's see, we've done a round, we've done a teardrop, we've done a straight. What other shape do I want to do today? We could do, got since I'm already on the 2-pack train here to finish my earrings, we could do, we do a pretty long piece this time. Ooh, I want to use the red. I haven't used the red yet. That's what I should do. I'll do. I'm thinking about how I can make that work. So, what I was thinking about is taking this and making a ladder. So I strung the bead through both ends. Let me see if I can get this more in the center. There we go. And if this again would take 2 bead mixes, not just one. Go through both ends. Let's see if it'll fall straight or if it will kind of turn. Looks like it's gonna bunch up a little bit. It's a fun little design, easy to do. And I can take my 2 wires and pass them into a regular sized crimp tube. I'm going to go for, how about gold one right here? I'm going to go for the gold here. Bring it down. And I think I'm going to do magical crimpers this time, or I could do a smaller crimp cover. Let's take the one side and you're going to go back into the crimp tube. So you make a last circle. That's where you're going to attach your ear wire. My goodness, it's loud next door today. And you just kind of fidget around with it till you get it just right, because you don't want to crimp until you're really happy with it. There we go. I feel pretty good about that. So I'm going to take my magical crimpers, find the center of that crimp tube, compress, and then I'll go in and I'll go in the other way here. You want to leave this loop up here at top big enough that this crimping plier can slide in here. I've done that before where I make it too small and then I can't quite fit back in there to get the right angle. And you also want to be careful not to mar or damage your beading wire as you're going. You want to kind of make sure it's out of the way when you're attaching. And then we can go ahead and trim. And there we go. We've got our cute little earring. And I'll attach my ear wire to that as well. Let me grab one of those gold ear wires from over here. You could definitely make any of these into a pendant for sure. Yep, they don't have to be earrings. And all of my ideas, I encourage you to take the, techniques that I'm using and make them your own. Use your own color palette. Change up the beads, use the blue ones instead of the red ones, or use the citrine wire instead of the bone wire. Or use a totally different bead. You can also crimp in these places that I have a bead, and that'll hold that wire in place just a little bit more into a ladder stitch, which is kind of fun. So that is my 4th earring for the day, and I will take pictures of all of these earrings and post them in our VIB group for you to check out. Look at all these beads that I still have left. These are in our custom designed 2019 fall winter Jesse James bead mix. You can only find it on the Softflex company website, and you will also find right on the home page the quad. The quad matches really well with anything you'll find in the bead mix, and if you buy a quad this week, you get a free bead mix while supplies last, but we do have a limited amount of bead mixes, so get in there and get that pretty soon. Pamij says your creative process is incredible. I learn a lot watching you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to hear that. I feel like I'm just sort of fiddling away, and I'm glad that people enjoy watching me fiddle. Just look at these luscious colors. I'm looking at it on the camera and I'm just like, I don't know, I'm entranced by these beautiful fall colors. So I can't wait to see what all of you guys make. I hope you'll post in the VIB group your designs using the fall Pantone colors as well. And I know Kristen made a really great design on Monday on Free Spirit Beading on YouTube. So you can find that still there archived and watch it anytime. And she'll be back again next Monday. I don't know if she'll be using our Pantone colors or doing something else. I would guess she'll probably use the Pantone colors again. So you'll see her on Monday. I'm going to be on YouTube Live on Friday with my new show called Holiday Crafts and Ornaments. It's an 8-part series. It will be part 3, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing yet. I'm going to work on that today, but I think it's going to be a Thanksgiving themed design this week using craft wire, and it will be something that can be an ornament or an earring or a pendant, you know, depending on the size that you choose to make it. So you can find me there at 10 a.m. Pacific time, YouTube Live, the Softflex Company channel on Friday. Kristen will be there Monday, and the next Tuesday we have a live sale here on Facebook, 1 p.m. Pacific time. It is a Mike Sherman private collection live sale, and it's sure going to be a lot of fun. Mike always has really unusual, special things from his collection that we're selling, so I look forward to seeing what Rosa and Mike came up with for this sale, and we'll go through it together. And it's really easy to participate, and yeah, you should check it out if you've never been to a live sale. And then I'll be back here on Wednesday again with another demonstration of some kind for making jewelry. So thanks for joining me today. Please run over to our website, www.softflexcompany.com. Take advantage of that great offer to get the free bead mix with the quads, and then you can also pick up all the other things that I was using today, the different crimping pliers, cutters, bead stoppers, crimps, ear wires. We really have it all. You can find it all on the website. So take care, guys, and I will see all of you again soon on Friday on YouTube for my latest and greatest ornament idea. Take care, guys. Bye.